What's up guys? Thanks for checking out today's video. In the shop today I have this super clean 2006 Honda S2000 and I figured such a nice car that I would share it with you and show you what we're up to today. The plan for this car is to do some baseline pulls, and then I have a Hondata Flashpro to be able to tune it and see what we can get out of it with the Hondata Flashpro. This car is amazing. It is super clean. It has only 24,000 original kilometers, which is like 15,000 miles on it. It is perfect. Personally, I love S2000s. I've had 3 of them. I've had an AP1 and 2 AP2s, but I've never had one of these 2006 Plus with the drive-by-wire. So this will be cool. Like I said, the plan today is to run it on the stock ECU. We're gonna see how much it makes with the stock ECU, then install the Hondata Flashpro, and maybe run some of the base maps that Hondata offers, and then if it needs some tweaking, I will tune it a bit. But realistically, this is a completely stock car. It has 2 little mods on it, and all it has really for mods is the infamous LHT air filter airbox mod, where you remove the separation wall in the airbox and add a K&N filter, and then it also has a Berk's high flow cat in it. That's it. Everything else is completely stock. The exhaust is stock. Everything else is stock. So, but yeah, I think it'll be cool. We'll see what this car makes stock, and then install the Flashpro and see what we can get out of it all said and done. So, why don't I get started and see what we can get out of it. Okay, so I've done the baseline pulls with the stock ECU, and now I have installed the Hondata Flashpro, locked into the vehicle, registered it with Hondata, taken care of all that, and I've uploaded their base map for AM V2 intake. And I think that's probably going to be the closest base map to this setup as possible. I might try some other ones depending how this goes, but anyways, all I've done is load this up. This is basically as it is from Hondata, and I'm gonna run it and see how it performs compared to the stock ECU. So let's see how it does. Okay, all said and done. We ended up doing a bunch of pulls with the stock ECU and then a few pulls with one of the Hondata base maps, and then I ended up just fine-tuning that Hondata base map a little bit to get a little bit more power. Let me show you where we began with the stock ECU and how much power it made. Stock ECU put down 222 wheel horsepower and 148 foot-pounds torque. One thing about the stock ECU is it engages VTEC pretty late. It's about 6,000 RPM, and that's why you see this sort of loss of power and then a huge jump up in power. And then also red line on the stock ECU, or fuel cut, is about 81, 82 on these engines with the stock ECU. And realistically, I've seen these engines get pushed to 9,000. So there's still more power, and that's why you see like it looks like it's continuing to make power, but then the ECU stops it. So what we ended up doing was loading up a Hondata base map. The base map was for the AEM V2 intake, and with the Hondata base map, it engaged VTEC much earlier. I think it was 55, and raised redline to 8400. This allowed it to pick up a bunch of power in the mid-range and also carry power further to make a little bit more peak power. So building off this, I basically fine-tuned this map a little bit, touched up the air-fuel ratios to where I wanted them to be, and then also just smoothed out the timing a little bit to how I would want it. And we ended up picking up a bit more power. So all said and done, we ended up with 225 wheel horsepower and 150 foot-pounds torque, with the big gains being in around 6,000, and because we were able to engage VTEC earlier. In this case, I think I engaged at about 53, so that we would pick up all this power, and then obviously extending redline to make more power up top. So S2000s are notorious for not being able to easily find power. Honda did a great job with these engines and these ECUs. There's really little extra power to be found, and realistically, any power from the mods were already realized on the stock ECU when we did that baseline. It would have been interesting to have run this car when it was completely stock with the stock cat and the stock intake and see how much power it made then. But either way, this is where we're at. It ended up picking up a bit of power and picked up and allowed VTEC to engage earlier, which is going to make a big difference on the street. Anyways, that's it for this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it interesting. And like always, thanks for watching. Bye now.